I wanted to discuss the meaning of correlations. And so I think the best way to do that is with a concrete example. So let's say we have students between the ages of 5 and 14 years old, and we give them a math performance test and 60 minutes to complete that test. Now, math concepts from be grade 1 to grade 9 are in that math performance test. And they do it and they get a score. And we're going to correlate that score because it is a continuous variable from 0 to 100. So give them a percentage and we'll correlate that with their age. And we would expect, obviously, as they get older, they perform better. However, I guess it could be that as they get older, maybe they perform worse. It could be a negative correlation, unlikely. Or it could be no correlation. And we hope that isn't the case for the sake of our education system. Now, it's doubtful that it's a perfect correlation because things like the teacher's ability to teach the subject could affect whether a student learned, or the student's perhaps innate math abilities could either help or hinder performance. So we could get a number of correlations. Let's see what we could get. So we could get zero point 0.1. Let's assume that it's going to be a positive correlation for the sake of our education system. So to figure out the true relationship, we square that value. All right. And if we square zero point 0.1 times zero point 0.1, we can do that on a calculator if you want, or you can do it in your head. The answer is 0.01. If you convert zero point 0.01 as a decimal, if you remember, that's actually 1%. All right. What that means is that there is an overlap of age and math performance by 1%. That means there's a common variance of 1%. Okay, age explains math performance, or math performance explains age. We don't know the direction, but there's a 1% overlap. Okay, that's not much. Even if that was a significant difference, I don't think we would say it's a meaningful difference. How about 0.25? Well, if we square that, 0.25, and we round it up, it's 0.06, which is 6%. It's still only a 6% overlap of explanation. It means that there's other variables that might explain the relationship, but age and math, they only overlap 6%. Let's go up to 0.4. So if the correlation was reported at 0.4, if we multiply it, we get 0.16. Still, that's 16% overlap. It's not a lot, but it's certainly better than the other ones. And then you can see as it goes to 0.5, there's a 25% overlap, and 0.75 is a 56% overlap. So there's a lot of overlap there. Still only half. So it's very unlikely that you'll get a 0.75 or a 0.5 correlation in the social sciences and education. You could, but usually they range from this 0.1 level to zero point 0.5. And if it's around somewhere between 0.2 and 0.4, we would consider that that's fairly high, just by convention, keeping in mind that it doesn't account for much overlap. And what it reminds us of is that the social sciences and education are complicated. You can't explain math performance just by age. There are many things in this case that would explain math performance. I mentioned a couple of those: teaching quality, quality of the school, quality of the math program, the way the math program is taught, the students' innate abilities to do math. All those things could influence. And so we know that's going to get messy. And that's why we accept that correlations between 0.25 and zero point 0.4 are perhaps not overly meaningful, but in social sciences, we would say, yes, there is something there because we know there's multiple variables that will explain behavior. And so we would say that it's probably meaningful by convention. However, we do need to note that really it is only one part of a complex picture. And so it only explains about 6% of the variance, okay? That's what we say. We would say in these situations, if the correlation is 0.75, then age explains only about 56%. There's still, even with that high correlation, there's still 44% that is not explained by age, okay? Or the direction. You could also say, well, it would be, yeah, you wouldn't explain age by math performance. So that's a summary of meaning of correlations.